Okay, good morning. Wanted to go over what happened yesterday and see if we can get a little bit of jump start prediction on what's going to happen today. I'm on a 15-minute chart. I've got some levels drawn in here. Got my emoji zone indicators here. That basically here's we've got zones down here have not been violated that haven't even been touched. So we've got a bounce level up here at top was up here, but we didn't have a rejection off that. We just had an absorption on that, and we had a real nice. This was a real nice reversal pattern, candle pattern on the 15-minute chart. So we're looking at say for example here, we came up, we came down to this price level. We had a price rejection here, and then we went back, and I believe that's the 50% line. Let's find out real fast. Basically between 50 and 61.8. So we came down here and we bounced off right there. We had a price rejection there. We came up here, rejected off here. We tried to push it up. They tried to buy it up again. Nice reversal right in this zone right here. And then we went to the downside. Okay. I don't want to go through all the technicals and analysis of yesterday. I mean, it's pretty obvious what happened. So we bottomed out down here and down here. So those are levels that we need to pay attention to going forward. Of course, if we short it, then those would be really good targets down here. Now, when Globex opened, kind of interesting. It was really interesting. Globex opened. They popped it up, but they didn't go very far. Here's a kind of it's not a perfect price rejection. There was a nice price rejection down there, and then they came down, but they weren't able to push it. This was a close. So they bought it up. They came up here again. They're testing. Basically, they're testing this level here, which is what is that? 2786, 2787. Right in this level. That was they tried to come back to the London Open right there, and they couldn't make it. So they rejected right before they got to the London Open. So what do? Come down to the London close. Nice rejection candle right off there. They tried to pull it down. There is a nice reversal at 2778.50. So you could have bought there when price action bounced, waited for the pullback, and got in at 2778.50. Both of those were very low risk entries. Now here's the interesting part. We didn't sell off back down here. Okay, so that basically means the bias for the overnight is going to be long. So what did we do? Well, we came up here, nice slow grind up, blah blah blah. Okay, and then what did we do at 3:15, 3-ish, 4-ish time frame? What we did is we hit this level right there. Well, at 27.92. Well, guess what? 27.92 is where we rejected off of right here. Okay, so if we reject off right here, what do you think? What do you think is going to happen? We tried it up here. Nice big rejection off that. Came back down, way the heck down here. There's another price rejector. Came back up, retested it, and then sold the heck off. So, and then of course that would have given you a nice projected downside approximately. If you look at that price rejection there, and then project it down, guess what? Hey, there we are. So rejected, retest, double that rejection, 2766.75. So it gave you a real good idea of basically a downside target. I said I didn't want to go through that, but that was pretty obvious from looking at the chart. And it's really nice to look at these 15 to 30 minute candles on these longer term charts instead of being stuck into 1 minute or 5 minute charts, just to see what's going on. Okay, just to kind of put some structure onto the market. So we came down here, we tried to push down, we tried to retest this level, and the market goes, nope, this is cheap enough. We're buying it. So that's what they did. It was still cheap here. They bought it. They weren't able to drive it down. So look for a London close at the for a possible retest. But see here, here where we go up here, we have some congestion up here. We have this retest up here that we pull back. It's a shallow pullback, so you know we're going cash open. This is yesterday's cash open, so I'm still looking for at least a bias to the long side overnight. You know, nice slow grind up. Where are we going to go? Let's see. Let me, you know, just to put kind of a ballpark figure onto that onto that projection. Hold on, let me pull this down. Let me pull this down here. Okay, so what am I looking at? So I'm looking at a rejection off right in here. I'm looking at, say, you know, you're looking at like a 50% zone here. I'm looking at, you know, another target up at 27.94. If they don't pull back down to here, then I would be looking at targets 2806 right in this area. There's a weekly low right there, which would be nice to test. We've got these levels up here, which are what was that? That was a cash open and Globex open from, I guess that was Wednesday. Yes, so Wednesday. So we're looking at an upside target at least of 2806. I'd be looking at a price rejection up here. If we don't reject, then we would, you know, start looking at another measurement to say, okay, fine, are we going higher? But I expect at least a partial rejection up here, and then on news or something, we could dump it. So here's a level to reject, or sorry, here's a level to watch. 2806 is 7 right in this area. We also have this guy up here, which we have not tested, 2816, and we've got one at 2822, and we got an ultimate level basically up here at 32 and what's that, 41 area. That would be a pretty fair stretch, but given that price action has been, you know, what has that been? You're looking at, let's see, okay, we're looking at basically we're looking at from 2800 to 2766. So we're looking at what, 10 points, so 135 ticks. So if we if we look at that, whoops, if we look at that and we look at this to the bottom, then we would be looking at like a 77, 94. You know, sorry, that would be. Let me put that bar. Let me put a bar on there just to kind of give a little bit of perspective on this, just to kind of give a little bit of a measure. And then I want to move this drawing. I want to move it down here to the open, or right around this guy. So we'd be looking at, you know, right up in this area, maybe 2810. At least that would be a normal range. If we're looking at, that would be Globex. If we're looking at like a midnight level, then you would be looking at something similar to, there's the midnight open. We'd be looking at something similar to an upside move of right up in this area here. So, and that would be, the top of that was like, you know, 2018. I'd be looking at, you know, maybe looking at a target, maybe a first target here, ultimate target of 2816 or 2822. I don't think the market would, market might go farther than that, but I mean, who knows? I don't have a 5 to 80 ADR in here, so I couldn't really tell you. But I just want to kind of give you an overview. By the way, don't pay any attention to this. This guy, I've got a simulation running in the background for a simulated auto trader that was running since Globex. And I had to restart it because I wanted to use it on a larger time frame chart. So anyway, that's kind of my Ed's prognostication for the day. You know, looking at 806 and 816 and 822. So to the upside. I think we're gonna buy it up. If we get to if we get to the open, this has been a nice slow grind up. So if we get to the open, if we get the cash market open, I expect they're going to short a cash market open. If they do, then I would be looking at somewhere down in this area, perhaps for targets. They would be perhaps shorting, up somewhere up in here, maybe a little higher, and then looking for those targets down here, since we haven't tested those, at least down to London close from yesterday, and then perhaps down to this area here, depending on what your where we bounce, and then measure, wherever we bounce, market open, and then we would measure the ADR. If we haven't come up far enough, then they may push it a little bit farther, and they may push it up here and then reverse it. We're at 6 a.m. So cash market open in 3 hours. It's been a nice slow grind up. I'd be looking at 2806.75 up here. They might pop it up a little bit further at the open, but that's a nice grind. It's a nice grind up from 77 to 97. That would be 30 points off London close right here. So you're looking at 30 points to the upside, 30, 35, and then turning. That would be my projection. And they would turn it around, and then perhaps go 30 or 35 points down. Somewhere down in here. Anyway, that's kind of the back of the envelope projection type of thing. It's worth what you pay for it. Take it for what it's worth. I'm just looking at, kind of interesting that this would bounce right off here, since that's where we bounced off but before. I would expect to see a bounce off there. And then 2 or 3 retests. You can see it's a very shallow pullback right here, very shallow. So probability is when we have a nice deep pullback and then they retest, they usually just come back down. But if you've got a shallow pullback, a very shallow pullback here, and then a retest, we've hit this area 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5 times within that span. So I would be saying we're going to bust it and we're going to go long here. We will bust it here and go up and look at here and 2806, maybe a little higher before they turn it around. This may not be enough for the overnight, for an overnight move from, say, for example, down here from London close all the way back. And here's London close, London open. Oh, I forgot to do this. Let's just do a measured move real quick from London close to London open. Let's see, just for grins. What would be that 50% line? And up 20 to 1. Okay, so London closed previous day where they bounced it. London open where they opened at 3 a.m. Yeah, London's they're probably going to buy it up. They like to do their own thing in the cash market. The U.S. Open is driven. Excuse me. Wow. Is driven from the London session most of the time, so you can get a really good read off on what's going on in the market from what London did overnight. This is a slow grind up. I expect a short at the open. Maybe a little bit of pop up if they've only moved from here since last night. So what's that? 4 hours, 6 and 10 hours. They've only moved this far. So you're only looking at say 50, 60 ticks right here. So maybe another 60 ticks up. And let's see, that's 3 more hours. So you're looking, I would be looking at right up, perhaps up in this area, maybe up in this area, and then I'd be looking for a short. I don't think they've moved it enough. They might continue to buy it up at cash market open until they've hit some sort of a level up here that they like. And I'd have to look at some of the other levels and some of the other proprietary charts that I've got. So anyway, have a good one, and we will talk to you later.